Le doy a grabar, hacemos un fiaum. Vale, hacemos un fiaum y let's fucking go.
Welcome to the May Dev Update. I'm here with, first off, we're in a new
Por
location.
favor, no me decepcionéis, por favor, no me decepcionéis.
Anyway, I'm here with
3
Phil,
meses sin
Patrick,
Dev Update.
Rachel, in the proper order. James, AV with
Está
his
todo el team,
Tahiti, and Katie,
Todo el team.
who didn't get to go on vacation. We're going to talk about Season 2. We're going to start with a high-level overview. Season 2 is themed Blood of the Sands. You can pretty much guess where it's going to take place in Brimstone.
La sangre del desierto.
We have a lot of new content to talk about. We have 10-person trials and 20-person trials. Katie, why don't you?
Imposible en español.
I heard something crazy is going on in First Light. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so as players join the public test realm, they might notice that they can no longer get into First Light. There has been a takeover. James, do you want to give a little bit of input into
En el PTR ha dicho, no se va a poder entrar en primera luz ya.
Okay, well, well, as you know, one of the key figures that you're sort of interacting with along the main story is Ariana, and she's basically doing some new things.
Yeah, and she's kind of kicked us out. So there's some more to be coming with the Season 3/expansion release. So we'll have more info on the exciting story behind it, but you'll notice that you can no longer get into First Light.
Que sea acuático,
Let me just
por
tell
favor.
people who have land or houses there, Ariana was very nice. Nothing will be lost as a player.
Yeah.
Everything will be refunded back to the players. You'll be
Yes.
taken care of.
Será reembolsado.
We're fortunate on that front.
Absolutely.
She didn't just boot us out and take all our stuff.
Yeah.
Another quick note I wanted to touch on is, I know we've talked about Transmog being the summer, and it is a summer release. We just thought it was a big enough feature that it could stand out on its own, so it's going to be in an off-cycle release after this. However, we're still tying it to the rewards. Phil, you want to talk about that?
Sure, yeah. In the Season 2 pass, players can earn transmog tokens on the free and the premium track. And so you'll be earning them before the feature releases, but hold on to them. I mean, you can't get rid of them, but earn them so that when the feature does release, you're ready to go. You're ready to start transmogging. And, I mean, you're going to be able to apply that to any of our awesome art on our armor and weapons in the game.
O sea, no se va a lanzar en el momento que se lance la Season 2, ¿eh?
Transmog's not going to come out, and then you're going to have to go hurry through the season pass. You're going to immediately have all this stuff ready when it comes out, so you can dive right into the feature.
Yep.
So let's do a deep dive on Season 2, and I think we
Pero
should start
entonces,
with
¿va a
the
ser de
narrative.
pago el
James, do you wanna
transmog?
go a little deeper than
Cuidado con eso.
I know you gave us the high level, but
Yeah. So Season 2 kicks off when a Dune Walker named Malik hires the Silver Crows to recover some special items that's going to help him revive an ancient sect called the Blood of the Sands. And it turns out these special items are sandworm eggs, so what could go wrong? And so this kicks off kind of a really epic-feeling adventure that goes across Brimstone Sands.
well, and that segues really well into the quest line, because the quest line is going to take you through this story. You want to talk about that, Patrick?
Yeah, definitely. So the Season 2 quest line builds on everything that made the Season 1 quest line great. We're doubling down on cinematics. We're doubling down on fun encounters.
Vale, más
So like
cinemáticas.
James said, you're helping Malik recover these eggs, and throughout the journey you guys are going on, you're fighting really cool named enemies that are now instanced. So we learned from the Faceless fight, and we're not just doing this in the open world. Players are going to go and fight this in a solo trial. It's going to be great. You're going to fight a handful of enemies in there. And then we also have a number of very cool cinematics. So you're going to recruit a new member to the Silver Crows,
una solo dungeon,
help
una mini
them,
dungeon,
recover
como
the
en,
items that
como en la historia de
they asked
Brimstone.
for before they're willing to sign on to the Crows. And the whole quest line, like James says, just feels really epic.
Well, and a cool thing about it is that anybody who missed out on the Fellowship and Fire questline and getting Xander in your crew, you do that part of it. So if you've already completed the full Fellowship and Fire questline, then you start brand new with Season 2, or you start again with Season 2 and getting the new member. But if you hadn't done that, and this is your first time, doing the quest line, you get to do those pieces of the first season quest line,
And it's
which is
worth
cool.
noting, we truncated
Vale,
it a little
eso para
bit
la
to make
gente
it
que venga
kind of
nueva, que
streamlined.
Yeah,
no
it's
hay
not the full
problema
one.
Yeah.
con todo el
But it's still
content.
fun.
ok.
The fun beats made it, of course, in, right?
Yeah, because
The
it's
most fun
cool. It's
beats.
cool, like getting the different team members for the group. So.
And on that, in Season 2, you'll also pick up a new team member for the Silver Crows. Yeah, so it's kind of fun.
Cool. And so along with season 2 comes some season pass changes, Phil? And quit looking over my shoulder at my notes.
This guy reads off a card.
Stop cheating, man.
Yeah, no, I'm cheating ahead. No surprises here. So for the new season pass and the new season rewards, we are working on optimizing the time it's going to take players to kind of get through that, make sure that it's really worthwhile to focus on doing the activities on the card and making sure that is a more of an equitable, rewarding loop for players. I know we're probably going to actually just continually optimize that. So we're shipping some updates before season 2 actually. And then we're going to just keep an eye on that and keep improving that for everybody.
Yo creo que el pase de batalla está bien.
Patrick had said before when we were in our pre-discussion is,
no cuesta mucho hacerse.
you don't have to feel compelled to do the whole card because that can feel grindy. So we're trying to make you feel well rewarded. If you want to do 3 and punch, that works. Or if you want to get a line, that works.
Yeah.
We're trying to give players ways to not have to feel grindy on this so that it can just be part of your
Los que
natural
entráis
play.
ahora, estamos viendo el DEV Update de Mayo.
And a lot of that is adding new
DEV Update
activity
de Mayo.
types that allow players of all play styles to make sure that they can clear out a whole card if they want or progress to a new card. And same with the journey too. We want to make sure that every player of every play style has a way through the journey. So we're adding a number of new journey tasks to this season's journey. So whereas season 1 had 10 tasks in each journey chapter, season 2 is going to have a little more.
Creo que tienen que meter más cosas de Outpost Rush. De hacer cosas en Outpost Rush, por ejemplo, arenas o...
Absolutely.
Yo creo que deberían de meter más cosas.
I know, yeah, the completionists are like,
Para completar toda una tarjeta
they're
solo
already-
haciendo eso.
I think I relate to those, yes. All right, well, let's talk about the seasonal trial.
Yeah, so season 2 introduces our first seasonal trial. This is called the hatchery.
El
and,
criadero.
like James said, you're going and finding some sandworm eggs. So
Huevos
where
de
else will you find
gusanos
some
de
eggs
arena.
other than a hatchery? You're going to fight
naturally.
5 waves of enemies, so a handful
oleadas de
of
enemigos.
kind of fodder waves who are minions of the
Estaba
big bad
filtrado
boss
ya
of
lo
the
de las
hatchery.
oleadas, ¿eh?
Then you're going to fight the Horde Master and his
Esto de la
hordes
horda.
of fire grunts. And then finally, you're going to fight Hadish Hazar, who is the Keeper of Flame, who is incubating these eggs and keeping them warm. Really epic 10-player fights, so it's a great opportunity for you to find 10 friends and then go and hop in this this instance encounter.
¿Y el
Can
gusano?
you say that it's exciting?
It's very exciting, but one of the most exciting things about it is the way we're handling the rewards in
I
the
was
trial,
just gonna say that.
where they have
What?
these seals. So every all the named items drop as Constitution items, but I can get seals from the trial that lets me respec these items into into focus.
Whatever attribute you want.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very player friendly.
Taking something that players really like on the faction shop and moving them into this event, and so that players can kind of have a little bit more agency
van a
and
meter un
tailor their
ítem?
rewards to what they're looking for.
Van a
I know
meter un ítem con el que se pueda
Scott's
cambiar el
gonna love
atributo de un objeto que te dropee.
trying to find that int piece, right,
Eso
Scott?
está muy guapo, ¿eh?
He's been scouring Brimstone sands.
One
Eso
other
está
thing
muy
Patrick
guapo.
mentioned before, that I think is exciting is that
No, what did
we
I do?
we heard feedback before that like solo
Pero, ¿y el
players
gusano
who
gigante?
like playing with other players but don't like playing with other players want to be able to enjoy this content too. So that's a big piece of content that we have a solo route.
Will they
through.
be egg static?
Unsubscribe.
There is also a very cool reward that players can get as well from that, right? A nice little helmet.
That's
Enseñadlo,
from
enseñadlo.
the season 2 event, actually.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah.
My bad.
Way to go, Phil.
Yes.
Eso,
How about the sandworm?
eso.
Oh, for the elite trial. So the elite trial
Que
is
ese no era el
the second
trial.
trial we're adding.
Hay 2 trial. Vamos a tener 2 trial. Hay un season trial y luego está el elite trial. Va a haber un season trial, va a haber un trial de temporada y luego vamos a
And
tener
it's
el
on
elite, que es
Sandworm.
el gusano
A couple
gigante.
cool things about this. One, it's 20 people.
20 personas.
Much bigger scale. It's got an epic arena.
What?
And we've really tailored it to sort of be super hard content, right? So in this one,
Va a
you're
ser
going to
de
have to have
20.
sort of a highly coordinated group. You're going to have optimized gear. You're going to have to know the fight. This is our first time we're creating content that we want to be really hard.
So, well, second time. We wanted the invasion to be really hard. So
Yes.
is this going to be really hard?
This will be very hard.
How many players will beat it the first week?
The first week, 100 players will beat it.
Okay. You heard it here first.
Tan difícil.
No, I think
Solo
the
100
goal is to
personas
make
van a
this hard, and
superarlo.
I
There
think
was a time, though, that we had created
Delusional.
difficult content that players were upset with us about. If you remember, Merkguard, they said was way overtuned, and that's why we did that dev run. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
is
And that went great.
That was great.
we made it pretty far.
Thanks, Patrick.
Yeah, we definitely made it pretty far, but we agreed and we had tuned it down a little bit. But this one is meant to be difficult.
Yeah, this is like what you're driving your gear chase toward. This is like the content we're building toward, and
Sí que es cierto que
phenomenal.
dificultaron los
Really
élites, eso es verdad.
the rewards are all going to be really strong. As part of the prep loop, I don't know if you want to give a little bit of a hint on to like getting ready for this big event, but
I might as well. It'll be in PTR, but
yeah, the sandworm is a beast enemy, so keep that in mind as you're gearing up
Estaba
for
claro.
You know what's more effective.
Estaba
against
claro
these
que iba a ser
types
una
in the
bestia.
game. And then also it does take place in Brimstone Sands, so
Pues equipo de
I think
bestia.
acid may
may play
May
into
play a
it.
little
play a little bit of a role here.
A little bit.
One of the cool things about both the elite trial and the seasonal trial is that it brings in larger groups, right? Like players have to fight with 20 other players, 10 other players. So that brings in some new functionality, right, Rachel?
Yeah, so as part of these changes, we will be bringing in raid groups. So,
Así, bueno, estaba claro, los
it'll
groups.
be 4 groups of 5, so up to 20 players. And it's open world raid groups. It's raid groups for the trials and everything. But now you can see when you're doing a chest run just how far away you are from everyone. But you'll be able to see everyone on the map and group up and hang out together with 19 other people.
It's going to be great for open world PvP.
Se podrá buscar
ECRs, things. It's going to help a lot, like just coordinating and communicating with
Company
people.
runs. It's going to be great.
totally.
Very
Se
exciting.
podrá buscar BG.
Part of the rewards for the sandworm is a new heart rune,
Yep.
Grupo de 20.
which is the sandworm heart
¿Va a ser de
rune,
10?
which you'll see in the PTR.
Se
But it
suponía.
also allows us to talk. I want to talk about heart runes just for a minute, because I know our roadmap said we're going to be doing a heart rune every release, every
Vale.
season. While we will be doing one in season 3, it's something that we could keep doing them, but we're feeling like it's almost becoming. There's almost too much going on in the game with them right now.
It's taking away from how special these are with how quickly we're putting them out there, when there's also other stuff that's coming out too, that you can use the heart runes that you've collected already. So I want to give them time in the game for players to really love them before we put out another one. So
Vamos, que
And
se
there's
retrasa
so
la
many that I want
Habrán.
to play with all of them and check them out, and it's hard to get through that whole thing. So
Se va a
we're
retrasar la
going
runa
to
nueva.
scale back on that plan, unless, of course, we hear like an overwhelming majority of the players saying, no, we want more and more and more. Then, of course, we'll revisit it. But I don't think we're hearing that message. So that is a change to the roadmap we'll be making.
A ver, la verdad es que
And then the last
en ese
deep dive
aspecto.
on the
No,
Season
hablamos.
2 PvE stuff is
Bueno, no voy a
season-
pararlo porque si no me voy a rayar. En ese aspecto creo que deberían de simplemente meter más en el meta las que ya están, que es lo que dicen ellos, que sacar otra nueva que no sirva para nada, como el tornado de fuego, por ejemplo. Yo intentaría meter más en el meta las que están, como el tornado de fuego, como el de las alas que sale para arriba. Yo metería un poco más en el meta esas que más que otra cosa, la verdad.
events.
Yeah, so season 2, we have a very exciting event for players. It's called the Siege of
We got to
Sulphur.
kill that now.
¿En serio?
Very exciting event for
Ah,
players.
PvE, ¿no?
It's
Ha
called the
dicho.
Siege of
We got to
Sulphur.
kill that now.
you need to stop
Please put your booze in the chat.
immediately.
It's called the Siege of Sulphur. So you're going to help a Dune Walker who's transporting some of those sandworm eggs. His cart broke down, and now he's trying to defend them from sulfur elementals who are attacking. So you're going to fight through a few waves of enemies trying to destroy those eggs.
Vale.
And if you're able to successfully defend every wave of enemies, you're going to get great rewards that scale based on how many eggs you successfully defend. So my favorite reward from that event is the hat that Phil alluded to earlier, the mini Devourer hat. It's my
So
favorite
cool.
cosmetic.
It
It's a
looks
little mini
so
sandworm that
cool.
goes in your head,
Devorador.
and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's shift over to PvP. There's a
Vale,
lot of
PvP.
PvP changes coming in this season 2 release. First one being Crossworld OPR, which I'm
Importante,
personally
el
super
Crossworld.
excited for.
Yeah, we talked about Crossworld OPR a little bit in a previous dev update too, but this is where you'll be queuing for OPR, and it's going to be your entire region, so anybody in your region at all. We'll also be introducing regional leaderboards with Crossworld OPR, so your OPR leaderboard will be everyone in your region that you'll be competing against for rewards.
That was exciting. I get to fall further down the leaderboards.
Get good, Patrick.
That's cool. On top of Crossworld OPR, we've made other adjustments to OPR. Dave, do you want to
Vale,
talk
a
about
ver.
those?
Yeah, there's some cool changes coming with OPR. I think
ver.
one of the ones I'm most excited about is some more scoring adjustments, right? Like we really want
Me da igual.
to start emphasizing the objectives a bit more and less what Scott does, just sort of spam his fire staff for damage.
in the first place, when you get your name up at the top of that list, you can come back to me.
So the
As far
scoring,
as I saw, the highest you got was third.
I got 2 the other day.
the scoring adjustments will really sort of, it'll be about defending the points, getting the points, and sort of playing the objectives. We're also going to make some changes to the way the Baroness fight works to make it a little more strategic. You'll get to try those out in the PTR. And then the last part that I think is really interesting is some changes to door resistances. So that, you can't just sort of plink away at them from a distance with piercing weapons. And with those, we'll be making some changes to siege equipment around it to make it a little more interesting, hopefully to create secondary objectives around it. So a bunch of little changes just sort of try to make the modes a little more exciting and tactical.
Vale, más estratégico.
Exciting.
A ver, si hay grupos de 20 para
Bill,
poder
you want to talk
buscar
about
20
the
personas,
PvP
me
reward
parece
track
perfecto.
changes?
Yeah, for sure. So I think I did allude to this too in a previous dev update, but we are making some big changes to the rewards track for Season 2. Players are just going to be able to have more reliantly get like really good drops. So we've overhauled all the existing drops. We've weeded out things that players weren't selecting, that just weren't performing in the current meta of the game. And we really tailored that to hopefully making the good stuff really
Mejoras a los
good.
drops.
And making sure it shows up a lot more frequently for players so that even if you can't afford it on one pass revolution on the track, you don't have to worry about losing the opportunity to pick it up then because it'll come back soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the last PvP update is a new arena map.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this one. So going with the Brimstone theme, I'm sure if you've run around New Corsica, you've noticed areas that could become cool arenas. We've used some of that to create a really different arena, right? Like the layout's completely different. It's multi-leveled. You're able to knock people off platforms into different levels. Like it's going to really, I think, change up the gameplay of arenas from sort of our current one. So love the new visuals, love the new layout. I think it's going to transform. Like people are going to have to come up with new tactics, new builds to really perform in this one.
It's awesome.
Pero va a ser de 3 versus 3.
Me parece una tontería. Before we go, I did want to touch on a couple more
Creo que la peña, la gente, me incluyo, preferimos antes otro mapa de Outpost Rush sin enemigos, NPCs, ni crafters, ni nada, y que sea un puro mapa de banderas y ya está, antes que un mapa de arena con plataformas y movidas, la verdad, pero bueno.
Way out. One of them is, I know there's been a lot of news and talk about a second project the studio's picked up, and
ojo, lo del Señor de los Anillos,
can't stress enough, New World is something we're heavily invested in. I think next year probably has more on it than this year's plan. So there's a lot going on. There's going to be no taking our foot off the gas on New World. We are pumped and excited to keep building this and working with the players. It's here to, it's where Amazon's behind it. And other than that, I just wanted to thank y'all for coming and trying this new format. This was kind of fun doing it, like instead of doing segments, doing the one big shot.
Era necesario comentar esto,
good, so I appreciate
que hablasen del Señor de los Anillos, de que el juego va a tirar para adelante y que no hay que preocuparse.
The day after this is released, so I'll say tomorrow because it's your tomorrow, but it's our like next week. So if you have any questions, please get them to us.
Vale.
Otherwise, thanks. If you like what you saw, subscribe, like us, and everything. Appreciate it. See you later.
Pues creo que era muy necesario lo que han dicho lo último. Por lo demás, creo que nos han dado más de lo que yo esperaba para la Season 2. O sea, nos van a dar, quitando que nos han retrasado el tema de la runa. A mí el tema de la runa, lo que he dicho, prefiero que metan más en el meta las otras que no se usan que tener una nueva, la verdad. Pero por lo demás, me ha sorprendido que al final es de 20 la raid y que los grupos de raid van a ser de 20. Pero es que me ha faltado que me digan, sí, vais a poder buscar grupos de 20 para BG. Me ha faltado que digan eso. Lo han dejado en el aire porque al fin y al cabo ha dicho que van a ser 5 grupos. O sea, van a ser 4 grupos de 5. 4 grupos de 5 son 20 personas. La raid, la Elite Trial va a ser de 20. Va a haber otro Seasonal Trial de 10. Lo cual me ha dejado roto porque no esperaba que eso fuese a ser así. Vamos a tener más contenido del que esperaba yo. Así que en ese aspecto estoy bastante contento. Lo del nuevo mapa de arena me parece que no es algo súper importante. Pero a lo mejor es algo un poquito más fresh. En mi opinión, me va a dar un poco igual. Prefería, la verdad, un nuevo mapa de Outpost Rush. Pero bueno, como van a meter cambios en el Outpost Rush y lo de los grupos de raid, a lo mejor hacen que se puedan buscar grupos de 20, lo cual sea mucho más divertido, jugar con más gente, un poquito más de estrategia y practicar sobre todo más para las guerras. Yo creo que me quedo bastante contento con el resultado de este DEV Update, y poquito más que decir.